Does it frustrate you in terms of the guys at 40, the guys at 40, the guys at 35, like Ryan Garcia, Evan, those guys, like they're talking, but they're not fighting. And obviously, when somebody was calling you out, you were just like, all right, let's do it. Does the part of you kind of just say like, I wish these dudes would just stop talking and just start fighting, man?
I think eventually they will all fight each other. Right now, when you feel like you're the best, you'll fight anybody. Like they want to fight each other, but maybe it's more political. Like different promoters, different that stuff plays a big factor and all that stuff. So, but I think eventually they will all fight each other. They will fight each other. Probably not now. Maybe they will, but I think eventually in the near future, they will all fight each other.
In terms of, because I got to get your opinion on this, because this fight is going to happen. Ryan Garcia, Roelly, it's going to happen. How do you think it plays out, man?
Man, that's gonna be entertaining. That's gonna be an entertaining build up.
For sure.
I like Roelly. I like Roelly. I like Ryan. I like both of those guys. You know what I mean? Like they're both good guys. Roelly's funny. Ryan's funny. They're two young, hungry guys who wanna. Ryan thinks he could beat him. Roelly thinks he could beat him. So you could beat the other guy. It's going to be a good fight. So I'm just excited to see it. I know it's going to be a great event. But as far as picking one, I really can't pick one.
If you had to like give Jaron Ennis like some advice, because he's a guy who's whooping everybody, but he can't really land a big fight. And like damn near half your career was big fights pretty much. So like is there anything you could kind of tell him to like you probably gotta do this, you probably gotta do that. Like is there anything you could, kind of tell him?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. For me and him, it's a lot different because when I fought my people, they thought they could beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like they thought they could beat me.
Yeah.
So I had to go there and remind them who was the man.
Yeah.
But in his case, I think people really just don't want to fight him. That's why he can't get the big fights.
Mm.
So for him, I think it's just being patient. He's the champion now. And eventually they're going to build somebody out just like him, and he's going to get a big fight. It might not be none of these new, guys that have been around like Crawford or anybody who's been around for a while. Or maybe he could reel one of those guys in, but I can't see those guys fighting him. But I can see him fighting somebody in the future that is built up like him, and they're gonna make it a big fight.
So you don't think that Crawford would fight Jaron? Not let's make sure I make it clear. You don't think Terence is scared of Jaron or anything like that, but you don't think it'll happen?
Nah,
Like you don't think that fight will ever happen, man?
I definitely don't think Crawford is scared at all. I think right now it has to make sense for him, like financially, and because right now it's a business for him. He's 36 years old. He's 40-0, great resume, unified two divisions, and he probably feels like Ennis is basically skipping levels to fight him when he earned that spot. So that becomes like political, like politics. I know the fans just want to see them fight.
Yeah.
Like man, all that don't matter, just fight. But boxing, everything has to make sense. And I think for Crawford, he feel like it don't make sense.
Are you kind of like in like a similar situation? Because it's like whenever a big fight at 47 happens or a big fight at 54 happens, your name always kind of gets mentioned a little bit. Like, yeah, I'd like to fight Danny Garcia. Like, are you kind of in the same boat where you're just like, these dudes are just talking, man? Like, unless they showing me the money, I'm good. I don't really want to fight these young guys, man.
No, at the end of the day, I always look at it like I'll fight anybody, but it got to make sense. It always got to make sense on their side and my side. But I took plenty of fights where I felt like I should have got paid more, and I did it because I knew I was better. Like my first world title fight, I only made 125K. So
Was that
when I
before
fought,
was that before or after taxes?
that was before taxes.
Ooh.
Yeah. When I fought Morales, my first fight, my bad. I made 175K.
Okay.
My first world title fight. And he was a legend, but I knew that it wasn't gonna be easy, but I knew I could beat him. And like when I fought Amir Khan, I made 500K, but that's still nothing compared with these young guys again. And that was a unification fight. So I really never really in the beginning, I never really looked at it about the money. I looked at like the opportunity I could get. If I win this fight, the money would come. And I feel like that's why I was so successful in the in my career, because I won the fights that made me that will put me in a position to make the money. And that's how you gotta kind of look at it. But everybody wants to get paid off the rip these days. Everybody wants to get paid millions. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's why it's harder to make these fights.